Meet George. He's 74, exercises every morning, eats healthy, rarely misses a doctor's appointment. But last year, George had a minor stroke, followed by a sharp decline in memory, energy, and confidence. The surprising culprit? Not sugar, not red meat. It was nuts. The same ones many of us, especially those over 65, are told are good for the heart and brain. What if I told you that two of the most popular nuts in America could be silently raising your blood pressure, inflaming your joints, damaging your memory, and even interfering with your medications? That your so-called healthy snack may be doing the exact opposite of what you hoped. In this video, we're diving deep into the science and the truth behind which nuts heal and which ones quietly harm the aging body. Backed by decades of research, real-life patient stories, and my own experience as a senior health specialist, we'll uncover which 6 nuts can become your secret weapon for a sharper mind, stronger bones, and a longer, more vibrant life, and which 6 you might want to throw out today. But stay with me until the end, because the most dangerous nut of all, it's probably in your kitchen right now, and almost no one is talking about it. If I could prescribe just one nut to my senior patients, it would be almonds. After the age of 65, bone density declines quickly, and oxidative stress, it increases, affecting memory, heart function, and immunity. Almonds fight both battles. They're rich in calcium and magnesium, which support strong bones and proper muscle function. Add in vitamin E and powerful flavonoids, especially if you eat them with the skin on, and you've got one of the best anti-aging foods on the planet. Plus, with 3.5 grams of fiber per serving, almonds support digestion and relieve constipation, something nearly half of seniors struggle with. I recommend 15 to 20 almonds a day. Choose them raw, unsalted, and if chewing is difficult, soak them overnight, or grind them into oatmeal or smoothies. Next, walnuts, the brain's best friend. Break one open and look inside. It looks like a tiny brain for a reason. Walnuts are loaded with alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 that helps keep brain cell membranes fluid and supports sharp memory. They also contain polyphenols that fight inflammation and even melatonin, which can improve sleep. In one study, seniors who consumed walnuts daily for 8 weeks showed measurable improvements in processing speed and mental clarity. Just 7 to 9 walnut halves a day is all it takes. Keep them in the fridge to prevent their oils from turning rancid. And if you can, crack them yourself. It helps keep your hands active and your motor skills sharp. Nut number 3, pistachios. A tiny nut with huge benefits. Pistachios are rich in potassium and low in sodium, which makes them excellent for managing blood pressure without medication. They're also packed with lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that help prevent age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in older adults. And because they come in a shell, they slow down your eating naturally. That helps prevent overeating and supports mindful snacking. Try eating 49 pistachios a day, just about an ounce. Choose lightly salted or unsalted varieties. Nut number 4, Brazil nuts, the selenium superstars. Just one Brazil nut gives you more than 100% of your daily selenium needs. This mineral is critical for proper thyroid function, nerve health, and even cellular repair. Selenium also helps protect the myelin sheath, the coating around your nerves that often deteriorates with age. The key with Brazil nuts is moderation. 1 or 2 per day is plenty. More than that can be toxic. Store them in the fridge and try to buy them with their shells for longer freshness. Nut number 5, hazelnuts. These are underrated but incredibly powerful. Hazelnuts are rich in folate and vitamin B6, both of which are essential for brain function, mood regulation, and memory retention. They also contain monounsaturated fats that support heart health and reduce inflammation. Eat around 20 hazelnuts a day, and if you want a bonus brain boost, pair them with a square of dark chocolate, 85% or higher. And finally, chestnuts, the lightest, most gut-friendly nut of all. Unlike most nuts, chestnuts are low in fat, but high in fiber and vitamin C. That makes them ideal for digestion and immune support. They have a starchy texture, almost like a sweet potato, which makes them easier on sensitive stomachs and perfect for seniors with chewing issues. Roast them in the oven and enjoy 3 to 4 per day as a warm snack in the colder months. So, what do all these nuts have in common? They're gentle on aging bodies, powerful in small doses, and capable of supporting everything from your heart to your brain to your bones. Simple, natural, effective. That's the power of the right nuts, used the right way. Let me share with you 3 real people. 3 very different lives. One thing in common: the nuts they were eating were quietly shaping their future, for better or worse. First, meet George. He was 72, jogged every morning, ate clean, took supplements. On paper, he was the picture of health, but he came into my clinic worried. "Doc," he said, "I walk into rooms and forget why. I lose track of my thoughts. My wife is worried about me. His vitals? Normal. Blood pressure? Fine. But his daily snack?" Every evening, George ate a handful of cashews. Cashews are delicious, but they're also high in carbs and low in fiber. They spike blood sugar, and George, like many seniors, had no idea he was borderline diabetic. We made one small change. We swapped cashews for walnuts and almonds. We spaced his meals, added more magnesium and healthy fats. In just 6 weeks, his brain fog lifted. He smiled and said, "It's like the lights came back on." Sometimes, what seems like a tiny tweak makes a massive difference. Then there's Leona. She's 68. Sweet, funny, and absolutely loved baking cookies for her grandkids. But her blood sugar? Out of control. Her eyesight? Fading fast. She thought it was just old age. Instead of taking her cookies away, I gave her a replacement. I told her to try pistachios. Every afternoon, just an ounce. They gave her crunch, color, and satisfaction. But more than that, they helped her stabilize her glucose, reduce eye strain, and eat more mindfully. She told me, "Now cracking shells is my therapy. It slows me down. I enjoy it more." That's the magic of the right food. It heals you in more ways than one. And then there was Arthur, a proud 74-year-old who read a magazine article about how macadamia nuts were good for the heart. He started eating them daily, but within a month, he was bloated, sluggish, and in pain. Turns out, macadamias are the most calorie-dense nuts on Earth. They're also packed with saturated fat, too much for an aging gallbladder to handle. We took them out, swapped in chestnuts and a few almonds. His bloating vanished. His energy returned. He laughed and said, "Doc, I thought I was being healthy. Turns out I was just being fooled by fancy packaging." These stories are real, and they're not rare, because after 65, your body is whispering when your joints swell, when your memory slips, when your digestion changes. Every bite matters more. That's why the goal isn't to fear food. It's to understand it, to make peace with your plate, and to remember that at this stage in life, food is no longer about trends. It's about trust. Trusting what works. Trusting how you feel. Trusting the wisdom of your own experience. Choose foods that respect your age, your body, your future, because you deserve nothing less. Now let's talk about the nuts you should avoid, or at the very least, be cautious with, especially after the age of 65. Why? Because your metabolism slows down, your digestion changes, your medication list gets longer, and what once worked for your body might now work against it. Let's start with peanuts. You might be surprised, but peanuts aren't actually nuts. They're legumes, and they're grown underground, which makes them especially prone to mold contamination, specifically aflatoxins, which are linked to liver damage and even cancer. Peanuts are also high in omega-6 fatty acids, which promote inflammation. For aging bodies already battling joint pain, cognitive decline, or cardiovascular stress, this adds fuel to the fire. If you take blood thinners like warfarin, here's another concern. Peanuts contain vitamin K, which can interfere with your medication. And when peanuts are dry roasted, they form acrylamides, chemicals linked to memory problems and nerve damage. Even natural peanut butter can raise your blood pressure if you're sensitive to sodium. So what's the safer option? Replace peanuts with raw almonds or pistachios. You'll get better fats and none of the silent risks. Next, let's talk about cashews. Cashews are creamy and addictive, but that smoothness hides a serious problem: high carbohydrates, low fiber, and a big impact on blood sugar. For the 1 in 4 seniors with diabetes, or the 1 in 2 with pre-diabetes, cashews can quietly cause harm. They're also rich in oxalates, which bind to calcium in your gut. That means less calcium gets absorbed into your bones and more ends up in your kidneys, increasing the risk of stones and bone loss. And because of their shape, cashews pose a real choking hazard, especially for seniors with swallowing issues. Worse yet, they contain enzyme inhibitors, which block protein digestion. Not good for older adults who already struggle to absorb nutrients properly. So, what's better? Switch to hazelnuts, lower in carbs, easier on the kidneys, and far better for your metabolism. Now, let's look at macadamia nuts. Macadamias are rich, buttery, and elegant, but behind the taste is a calorie bomb. With over 200 calories per ounce and more than 20 grams of fat, they can derail your weight control, especially when metabolism slows with age. They're also one of the hardest nuts to chew. Bad news for seniors with crowns, dentures, or weakened enamel. Even worse, macadamias are loaded with saturated fat, which can raise your LDL cholesterol. And if you have gallstones or a sluggish gallbladder, they can trigger painful episodes you might not even realize are food-related. If you love the richness of macadamias, try chestnuts instead. Lower in fat, easier to digest, and friendly to sensitive systems. Next is pine nuts. Tiny, soft, and seemingly harmless, but surprisingly risky for older adults. Pine nuts have been shown to interfere with common medications, like statins, antidepressants, and blood pressure drugs. They can also trigger pine mouth, a strange metallic taste that lasts for days or even weeks, leading to appetite loss and nutritional deficiencies. They're also rich in polyunsaturated fats that oxidize quickly, creating inflammatory byproducts that can worsen arthritis or heart conditions. Their slippery texture increases choking risk, especially for seniors with dry mouth or swallowing difficulties. Better option? Walnuts or pistachios. Safer, more nutrient-dense, and medication-friendly. Nut number 5. Pecans. Pecans seem harmless, but here's the problem. Most of the pecans sold in stores are coated in sugar, glazed, or processed with hydrogenated oils. They're sweet, but they're also loaded with saturated fat, which adds strain to aging cardiovascular systems. And because they're soft, they're dangerously easy to overeat, especially for seniors who eat quickly or snack mindlessly. If you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, this could mean unexpected blood sugar spikes and insulin resistance. Instead, go for raw walnuts, same crunch, better brain boost, no added sugar. And finally, candied or processed nuts. These are the real villains in disguise. They sparkle, they crunch, they taste amazing, but they're not doing your body any favors. These nuts are coated with sugars, roasted in bad oils, and loaded with preservatives. The result? A perfect storm of inflammation, weight gain, and metabolic stress. They trick your hunger signals, spike your insulin, and feed cravings that make you feel hungrier, not healthier. And for older adults who already struggle with insulin resistance or fatty liver, they can be downright dangerous. The rule is simple. If it glistens like candy or smells like dessert, it's probably not helping you age well. So, here's the takeaway. You don't need to avoid all nuts, just the wrong ones. Listen to your body. Learn what's working and what's not. And when in doubt, go natural, go raw, and go with the ones that have stood the test of time. Because what you snack on, in silence, can speak loudly through your health. Let's bring it all together. After 65, your body isn't asking for perfection. It's asking for consistency, clarity, and care. And sometimes, that starts with something as simple as the right handful of nuts. Here's the daily routine I recommend to my own patients. I call it the longevity nut ritual. 7 walnut halves for brain clarity and blood flow. 15 almonds for strong bones, heart support, and healthy digestion. 20 pistachios for blood pressure and eye protection. 1 Brazil nut for thyroid function and anti-aging selenium. 5 hazelnuts for mood, memory, and heart harmony. And 2 chestnuts for fiber, vitamin C, and gentle energy. That's it. 1 handful, once a day. Prep it every Sunday. Store it in small jars. Keep it by your tea, in your bag, on your desk. A ritual so small, yet powerful enough to protect your brain, bones, heart, and gut. Now let me leave you with one final story. Alan was 76, a retired school principal, widower, lived alone in a quiet Oregon town. He came to me tired, forgetful, and frustrated. He told me, "Doc, I'm not trying to live forever. I just don't want to feel useless." His snack routine: peanuts, candied pecans, store-bought trail mix. We didn't overhaul everything, just one thing. We built him a weekly nut mix: walnuts, almonds, pistachios, Brazil nuts, balanced and portioned. 3 months later, Alan was walking again, gardening, remembering his neighbor's name, laughing more. He looked me in the eye and said, "I don't need more years. I just need better ones." And he was right. Longevity isn't about adding time to your life. It's about adding life to your time. You don't need to fear food. You just need to know which ones serve you and which ones silently sabotage your health. So, here's my final prescription. Choose foods that speak kindly to your body. Snack with intention, not impulse. And remember, your second chapter deserves just as much strength, clarity, and joy as your first. If this video helped you, share it with someone you love. Comment below. Which nut helped or hurt you the most? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more science-backed health advice made for people who still believe the best is yet to come. Because it is. It's never too late to change what you eat and change how you age. Meet Alan, 76 years old, a retired school principal, a widower. He lived alone in a quiet town in Oregon. He was kind, soft-spoken, and forgetful. When I first met him, Alan was struggling with balance issues. His thoughts felt foggy. His energy was low. He didn't cook much, but he snacked often on salted peanuts and candied pecans. He looked at me and said, "I don't want to live forever, Doc. I just don't want to feel useless." That hit me. We didn't change everything, just his snacks. He replaced peanuts with raw almonds. He swapped candied pecans for roasted chestnuts. And he began eating one Brazil nut every morning. That's it. 3 months later, his grandkids started noticing. "Grandpa doesn't fall asleep mid-sentence anymore," they said. Alan started walking again, just 15 minutes a day. His memory, sharper, his posture, straight, his energy, brighter, and most of all, his smile came back. He looked me in the eye and said, "Turns out, I don't need to live forever, just long enough to enjoy my life again." And that, right there, is the lesson. Longevity isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. After 65, your body doesn't just talk. Sometimes it shouts. And every bite you take, every small choice, is either feeding the fire or fanning the flames of inflammation, brain fog, and disease. So here's my advice. Don't chase trends. Choose time-tested foods, the kind with real science behind them. Don't overdo it. Even healthy nuts can harm you when eaten in excess. And most importantly, don't ignore your body's signals. You're wiser now. Use that wisdom. If this story resonates with you, share it, because someone you know might just need a reason to believe that change is still possible. Comment below and tell us which nut helped you the most, which one hurt you the most. Your story might save someone else. And if you found this helpful, subscribe for more videos made with research, care, and a deep respect for your journey. Better health often begins with something simple, sometimes even with a better snack.